What makes each transaction unique? Imagine every transaction on the Decred blockchain having its own digital fingerprint. That's exactly what a transaction hash does, more commonly referred to as a transaction ID or TXID. This 64-character string serves as an unbreakable identifier that makes each transaction unique in the vast ocean of blockchain data. Let's decode this mystery. Why exactly 64 characters? The answer lies in cryptography. Decred uses a single invocation of the Blake 256 hashing algorithm. It's like putting your transaction information through a digital blender to produce a unique identifier. This process takes the transaction data in a specific sequence and converts it into a 256-bit hash, which when displayed in hexadecimal format, gives us those 64 characters using only 0 to 9 and A to F. Here's what gets blended into the transaction ID. Transaction version, serialization type, which is a special value that identifies the type of hash and doesn't include witness data. Inputs or outputs being spent. The output index for each input. The transaction tree it resides in. Input sequence number. Outputs being created, which consists of the output amount, the payment script version, and the payment script. Transaction lock time. The optional transaction expiry block height, which is typically set to no expiry. Change even one tiny detail, and you get a completely different transaction ID. That's the beauty of cryptographic hashing. Now here's where it gets interesting. Transaction IDs don't exist in isolation. In Decred's UTXO system, they form an unbreakable chain of ownership. Think of it like a digital relay race where each runner must clearly identify who handed them the baton. When you create a transaction, each input must reference a previous transaction using 3 key pieces. Transaction hash, the hash of the transaction which contains the output being spent. Output index, the index of the output being spent. Transaction tree, which tree the output being spent is in. This is required because there is more than one tree used to locate transactions in a block. For example, transaction B creates 2 outputs, indices 0, 1. When transaction C wants to spend output 0, it references transaction B0 in its input. This creates an unbreakable link. You can trace every coin back to its origin. The UTXO ledger prevents double spending. Every Decred node maintains a live database called the UTXO set, essentially a real-time inventory of all unspent coins. When a transaction is processed, new UTXOs are added. The transaction's outputs join the available pool. Spent UTXOs are removed. The referenced inputs are deleted from the pool. This elegant system prevents double spending automatically. Try to spend the same UTXO twice? The network will reject it because it's no longer in the available set. Decred's transaction ID system creates unique identifiers. It builds an immutable chain of trust. Every transaction becomes a permanent link in an unbreakable chain, creating complete transparency and preventing fraud through pure mathematics. Next time you see that 64-character string, remember, you're looking at the digital DNA that connects every coin to its entire history on the Decred blockchain.